Srimad Bhagwatam ki Nitai Gaur Preman. So today we're taking the 6th verse of the 10th chapter of the first canto. So you have your phone. So type on your browser or the Google SB for Srimad Bhagwatam, SB space 1.10.6. What opens up? Yeah, that's the sloka we're doing today. Nadayo vyadhaya klesha deva bhutatma hetava ajat shatrava pavanjantuna shatrav bhavan jantuna ragi kahirchita na, never. Adhyaya, anxieties. Oh, anybody on the Zoom wants to chant the verse, please?
The verse, please. What number?
6.
6. Oh, 6. Thank you. I'll chant it. I'll be very happy to. Na dayo vyadayaha klesha daiva bhutatma hetavaha ajata satra abhavan jantuna marajni karichit.
Adhayo vyadhaya klesha daiva bhutatma hetavaha ajata shatru abhavan jantunam rajni karchit.
Thank you.
Nadayo vadaya klesha deva bhutana hetavaha ajata shatru abhavan jantunam rajni karichit.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Na, never. Adaya, anxieties. Vyadhaya, diseases. Klesha, trouble due to excessive heat and cold. Deva Bhutatma, all due to the body, supernatural, and other living beings. Hetava, due to the cause of. Ajata Shatra, unto one who has no enemy. Abhavan, happened. Jantuna, of the living beings. Rajani, unto the king. Karhichit, at any time. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. Purport. You want to repeat? Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. Purport. To be non-violent to human beings and to be a killer or enemy of the poor animals is Satan's philosophy. In this age, there is enmity towards poor animals, and therefore the poor creatures are always anxious. The reaction of poor animals is being forced on human society, and therefore there is always At the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, there were no different nations. Although there were different subordinate states, the whole world was united, and the supreme head, being a trained king like Yudhishthira, kept all the inhabitants free from anxiety, disease, and excessive heat and cold. They were not only economically well-to-do, but also physically fit and undisturbed by supernatural power, by enmity from other living beings, and by disturbance of bodily and mental agonies. There is a proverb in Bengali that a bad king spoils the kingdom and a bad housewife spoils the family. This truth is applicable here also, because the king was pious and obedient to the Lord and sages, because he was no one's enemy, and because he was a recognized agent of the Lord and therefore protected by him. All the citizens under the king's protection were, so to speak, directly protected by the Lord and his authorized agents. Unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord, he cannot make others happy who are under his care. There is full cooperation between man and God, man and nature, and this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature is exemplified by King Yudhishthira. Can bring about happiness, peace, and prosperity in the world. The attitude of exploiting one another, the custom of the day, will only bring misery. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this chapter, departure of Lord Krishna to Dwarka, first 6 verses of this chapter go into how good the rule of Maharaj Yudhishthira is. In the last verse yesterday, we talked about rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their quota to the king's profusion. So that is more like nature, how the nature was affected positively or happily because of King Yudhishthira's rule. This final verse today, glorifying the rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj, is talking about people. It's not talking about nature, it's talking about human beings. Because the king having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, disease, excessive heat or cold. This is like the three tapas in a way. Mental agonies is the adhyatmic tap. Disease is like bodily related to the our body, and excessive heat or cold is like adidevic, that is related to the Devi Devtas. The Devi Devtas give us some kind of anxieties, they give us tap, mainly in the form of heat or cold. So far, we are protected. But that heat dome that came here some time ago, what year was it? Last year or the year before? Nitai Ram Prabhu, when the whole town was burned down on the way to Sharanagati. What was that town?
Lillooet.
Lillooet? The whole town got burned down. The temperature went up to almost 50. And they are expecting that maybe a little spark came from the train passing by, and that spark burned the brown grass, and slowly and gradually it engulfed the whole town. Almost every house was burned down. 50 degrees, some places it was registered even higher than 50. This is a new phenomenon. Until it came, we had never heard of it. Were you here, Nitara? Did you ever hear of a heat dome before the heat dome came? I thought I was the only one who never heard of the heat dome. Heat dome is a phenomenon that the nature somehow makes a dome in a particular area, something like 100 square meter or something, and it really heats up that area. And we were in there, Vancouver, and the interior was in there. It was a something like 100-kilometer dome, and it got so hot that many people, I think something like 700 people died because of it. I don't remember correctly, but something like 700 people died. It was the first time that the heat dome came, and it doesn't kill healthy people, but somebody is stuck somewhere, somebody is stuck at home, 40 outside, then your house will be 50. In India, the houses are made to dissipate the heat. So if it's 40 outside, inside the house, it would naturally be 30. Without doing anything, inside the house will be 30. Here, it's the other way around. Inside the house will be 50 because the houses are made to keep the heat, not let it go. Whatever heat comes, the houses are made, because it's a cold area, the houses are made to absorb or keep the heat and not let it go. Because most of the time is winter, you want to keep the heat. But when the summer comes, the houses are the same. So it is not going to let the heat go, it's going to preserve it. So you have to at least get out of the house. And those who are housebound, they could not survive it with other medical conditions, of course. They could not survive it. So many people died because of the heat. And this year, I was hearing on the news, somewhere there's a heat dome going on. And it is being expected that the heat dome will come here again. And then there is something called the atmospheric river. A few years ago, the atmospheric river came. Atmospheric river is like another 100 kilometers wide area funnel that brings in all the rain from everywhere and concentrates it, and it comes down like a river. The rain comes down like a river, the river of cloud. So in the matter of 3 days, we had something like 2 or 3 months worth of rain in 2 or 3 days. The lower places were all flooded. We didn't have very much problem here in the lower mainland, but in the interior, everything got flooded. There's floods everywhere. So that's called the atmospheric rain. And until a couple of years ago, the atmospheric rain came. Before that, we had never heard. What is the atmospheric rain? We had never heard of that. So all these things are coming, new phenomena in the matter of weather, and that we have never heard of before. So definitely going towards Kali Yuga, these things are becoming more and more unbearable. In the east coast of the United States, what they call it, Northeast or something, all the New York, New Jersey area, very highly populated, concentration of the population is there, and they're breaking all records of heat last week. That forever they have been keeping records, never had 3 digits in the Fahrenheit. They've never had 3 digits. The summer is so severe. So here we're talking about Yudhishthira Maharaj's reign, and people are not facing excessive heat or cold. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, to be non-violent, to human beings and to be a killer of the enemy of the poor animals is Satan's philosophy. To be non-violent, the Satan word comes from the Bible, I think. The Christians talk about the Satan. Satan is evil, not good. And the Satan's philosophy is to be non-violent. In the Christianity, it is said that thou shalt not kill. But they take that as thou shalt not kill other human beings. Thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not kill. Srila Prabhupada says, thou shalt not kill means thou shalt not kill anyone. If you are non-violent towards animals and you are non-violent towards the human beings, it's all the same. The killer of the enemy of the poor animals, killing the poor animals, like PETA always points out, that some animals, for them, is criminal to kill some animals, whereas other animals, they kill them as food very easily and not thinking that they are performing any kind of crime by killing all these animals. They also deserve to live. All the farm animals that are raised for food, they think it's okay to kill. The other animals who are not raised for food, is a criminal act to kill them. Why such a discrepancy? Srila Prabhupada never understood that you are killing some animals and calling yourself non-violent. You're not non-violent if you're killing animals. This is Satan's philosophy. Further, Srila Prabhupada says, in the age, there is enmity towards poor animals, and therefore, poor creatures are always anxious. The animals are always anxious because they know from their bios that they are going to be killed. So that's why they are anxious. They are very scared because they know they're going to be killed. So that anxiousness, that scaredness, that fearfulness is in their mind, is in their whole being, and then we kill them and we eat them. So you are what you eat. So if you are eating those anxious animals, that's why people are becoming so anxious, because they are eating this anxious food. That's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to point out here. The reaction of the poor animals being forced on human society, and therefore there is always the strain of cold and hot war between men, individually, collectively, or nationally. We are always fighting a war, whether it's a cold war or a hot war. Cold war is an undeclared war, and a hot war is like a declared war. Both individually, men are fighting all these wars. Collectively, they are fighting, and nationally. Collectively means this Christian groups and the Muslim groups, and actually wherever disturbance in the world. If you go to look at it, one side is always Muslim. And many places, both sides are Muslim. Not that the others are not fighting, but that's what you will find most of the places. We don't even find out where most of the killing, most of the terrorism is going on in these African countries. And why is it happening? People are anxious. They don't want to accept this person's rule, that person's rule. They divide themselves into bands. They divide themselves into community. They divide themselves on the basis of language, on the basis of color, caste, creed. I live on this side of the river, you live on that side of the river, I don't like you for that, or I have a different culture and I have a different belief. There are so many different kinds of Christians and so many different kinds of Muslims, and everybody is finding reasons to fight with each other. But Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that at the time of Maharaj Yudhishthira, there were no different nations, although there were different subordinate states. There were not different nations, but there were states. Every state had their own king, and all the kings were subordinate to Maharaj Yudhishthira when Maharaj Yudhishthira was established as the king of Hastinapur. Hastinapur was capital of the world. The whole of Bharatvarsha was one nation, one country. And all the other kings, they were the kings of the states, not the kings of the nation. There was one king of the nation, and that was Yudhishthira Maharaj. Going further, the whole world was united, and the supreme head, being trained king like Yudhishthira, kept all inhabitants free from anxiety, disease, and excessive heat and cold. The rule of Maharaj Yudhishthira, because he was so pious and so befitting, all these things were happening. They were not only economically well-to-do, but also physically fit and undisturbed by the supernatural power. Supernatural power is the power of the demigods. So the inhabitants of the nation of Yudhishthira Maharaj was well-to-do economically and was physically fit and was undisturbed by the supernatural power, meaning the nature. By enmity from other living beings and being disturbed of bodily and mental agonies. These things were not there. The disturbances of bodily and mental agonies were not present so much. There is a proverb in Bengali that a bad king spoils the kingdom and a bad housewife spoils the family. You lead by example, and same time, he wanted to see Ravana. He wanted to kind of give him a little bit of a warning, a little bit of a threat. So he thought that, okay, if I ask to see Ravana, I may not be so lucky. So maybe I should create some trouble. So if I create some trouble, I will be presented in front of Ravana, and I will be able to give him the message of Lord Ram. I will be able to tell him that, what you did, kidnapping Devi Sita was no good, and Lord Ram will be coming to punish you. So he was presented in front of Ravana, and his crimes were read in front of Ravana. That he tried to steal the fruits growing in that garden. He took it upon himself to take all the fruit of the garden, so he was stealing. So Ravana asked him, why did you steal? He said, I stole because I thought I will be given a prize for stealing. I said, what? How come you thought that you will be given a prize for stealing? I said, because your king himself is a thief. He goes behind the backs of the men and steals their wives. So in the kingdom where the king is a thief himself, thieves should be given special honor. Like this new country with the new ruling party, Afghanistan, with the Taliban. Taliban took over Afghanistan, and they celebrated their Independence Day. So who are they praising? They're praising the bombers, those people, suicide bombers. They're showing off their weapons. What are their weapons? Suicide bombing jacket. Who are their heroes? Who go and perform suicide missions. So what you do is what you want to glorify. They are glorifying suicide missions. They are glorifying terrorism. They are glorifying indiscriminate killing of women and children. They are actually glorifying. So in that way, Hanuman is thinking that the king here is a thief himself, so if I steal a little bit, what's the harm? Going further, because the king was pious and obedient to the Lord and sages, because he was no one's enemy, and because he was a recognized agent of the Lord and therefore protected by him, by the Supreme Lord. All the citizens under the king's protection were, so to speak, directly protected by the Lord and his authorized agents. So how do you have no enemy? There are so many states, there are so many kings. How would they become subordinate to you? The way to make them subordinate is to go out and have a fight with each one. them subordinate, because otherwise they will not become so subordinate. Why would a king become subordinate to another king? What is the reason? You have to defeat them in the battle. And all these battles and killing of so many people becomes a very, very expensive, time-consuming, and a very, very violent act. So you commit all that much violence just to make yourself the king, then you cannot be so proud that you are such a good king, because you have done so much violence to become that king. So that's why Krishna devises a plan how to make Yudhishthira Maharaj the king without so much violence. But of course, with Duryodhana, the plan wasn't working. So because of Duryodhana, the whole battle of Kurukshetra had to take place. But before that, there is a question that often arises. Why did Krishna leave Mathura and go to Dwarka? Why did Krishna leave Mathura and go to Dwarka? In Mathura, Jarasandha was attacking. Jarasandha was a very, very, very powerful person and the king. Very powerful. And all that power was, of course, coming from Krishna. Krishna could have just killed him very easily. But he did not choose to kill Jarasandha. He chose to leave Mathura. Why he chose to leave Mathura is because he did not want to kill Jarasandha. Why he did not want to kill Jarasandha is because he wanted Bhim or one of the Pandavas to kill Jarasandha. Why did he want one of the Pandavas to kill Jarasandha? Is so that the Pandavas will be established as the most powerful, because Jarasandha is most powerful. So if you have one person who already reached the finals, and anybody comes and defeats this person who's reached the final, automatically becomes the belt holder. So, I am the champion of the world because I defeated this one person. You don't have to defeat so many people. You have to defeat the world champion, and by defeating one world champion, you become the world champion. So that's why Krishna kept Jarasandha. Jarasandha was very, very powerful, and whoever later found out that Bhim actually killed Jarasandha, or the Pandavas actually killed Jarasandha, they did not want to fight with the Pandavas. If they kill Jarasandha, we are nothing. So we admit defeat. Similarly, in the Ramayana, in the form of Lord Ram, the main thing he came for, Srila Prabhupada also says in the chapter summary in the Bhagwatam, that he came to establish Ram Raj. Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavam yuge. Krishna appears in every millennium to re-establish the religious principles. So, the purpose of Lord Ram's incarnation was also to re-establish only that, lot of life, lot of violence. So did Lord Ram go to fight with all those state leaders, kings? No. They accepted him the king. Why did they accept him the king? Because he defeated Parshuram. Parshuram had already defeated all of these other kings, their ancestors, and Parshuram was known to be the most powerful at that time. Parshuram, by the way, is still around. He is still in this world, and when Kalki comes, Parshuram will be going to help Kalki Avatar. So in any case, Parshuram was already established to be the most powerful person or ruler or warrior, most powerful warrior. Nobody would dare come in front of Parshuram. But Lord Ram and Lakshman, they stood in front of Parshuram. And they defeated Parshuram. And Parshuram bowed down to them. And that established them to be the most powerful. Because the other kings are saying, if Parshuram himself is subordinate to Ram, then who am I? So nobody challenged the horses of Ashwamedh Yagya of Lord Ram, only Love Kush did. Other than Love Kush, nobody challenged the horse because they already understood that if Parshuram himself is subordinate, is accepting subordination of this Ramchandra, then there is no use. So going further, last 3 lines left. There is full cooperation between man and God and man and nature. And this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature is exemplified by King Yudhishthira. How do you have the cooperation between man and God? By becoming subordinate to God, understanding God's position. The nations these days, they do not. America, in their motto, they say, in God we trust. What is your trust in God? You are killing the creatures made by God every day and eating them as food. Trust in God. This is all hypocrisy. If you trust in God, then you should not be killing and eating the animals made by God. So that's how you have a cooperation between man and nature, man and supernatural, and conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature. So if you are subordinate to God, then nature also favors you, as exemplified by King Yudhishthira. Can bring about happiness, peace, and prosperity in the world. Srila Prabhupada is giving in the final sentence a formula to bring about happiness, peace, and prosperity in the world. How? By surrendering to the Supreme Lord, surrendering to the system given by the sages, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. The attitude of exploiting one another, the custom of the day will only bring we're doing is we have an attitude of exploiting one another. Everybody is trying to exploit each other, meaning the men are trying to exploit the nature as much as they can. They're trying to exploit the nature. People are trying to exploit their employees. People are trying to exploit the regular public. People are trying to exploit their customers. People are trying to exploit whoever they can. And this custom of the day will only bring misery, and that's what we have. So, thank you very much. This is all I wanted to say. I would like to now invite comments and questions. Anything you want to add to today's verse explanation given by Srila Prabhupada? Any questions or comments? Anybody on Zoom would like to contribute?
Can you hear me?
Oh, Manu Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you. What a wonderful detailed thing. I'm curious to know about this heat dome and atmospheric rain you were talking. Which year it happened? I'm a little curious. I never heard. First time I'm hearing of these things.
Oh, did you miss it? Atmospheric river? Yeah, the atmospheric river came last year, not last year, the year before last, when Kelowna and all these places were flooded, and people were saying that we should run a ferry from Vancouver to Kelowna because everything is flooded on the way.
Okay. That one, okay. And then,
there were a lot of flooding in Abbotsford and all of the interior, where they have taken the land from dry lakes and built houses in them. So lower land, they all got flooded because of this rain that came within 2 or 3 days. The rain worth of 2 or 3 months came down in 2 or 3 days, and the water could not go anywhere, so it all got flooded. And the rivers from the other side of the boundary, the other side from the United States, also flooded into Canada to make the matters worse. Some of our rivers flooded into their area, and some of their rivers flooded into our area. You missed all that? You were not here?
I didn't think that it has an atmospheric rain, the terminology. Okay, fine, I heard that one. And how about this heat dome you're talking? Which year was it?
I don't remember. I'll have to Google it. Heat dome came. That's the time when Lytton got burned down. What was it, Lytton or
Lily or somebody were telling, I don't know.
I think it was Lytton.
Yes, Lytton. Yes.
A whole city called Lytton burned down because their temperature exceeded 50.
Even in Langley, we had more than 50. Our patio plants became completely gone, totally burnt. In our patio, the plants were burnt. And the trees were all brown, like the leaves became burnt on the trees, and if you see some of the trees. So that couple of years ago. And the next year was the atmospheric river.
What year that happened, I'm sure we can Google it. But it just, all of these things happened within the last 4 or 5 years.
Thank you.
Extreme weather patterns. Right here, we live in Vancouver, Lower Mainland. Yeah, these things are not so local, but they are local. Local meaning they go by 100 kilometers. So 100 kilometer, even the states, even Washington Muslim state was affected, and the whole interior was affected. With both these things, the atmospheric river and the heat dome. These are two very good recent examples of nature being so cruel in the sense.
That's right. Thank you. I think Saraswati Mataji wants to say something. Go ahead, Saraswati Mataji.
Hare Krishna, pranams. Well, they're talking about Satan, which the Muslims term as Shaitan, Satan's philosophy. And Srila Prabhupada, in the purport where he talks about the pastimes of Maharaj Prithu, well, he gives a very macabre outlook on the future as Kali Yuga progresses. He said there'll come a time when Mother Nature withhold all the food grains due to the increased sinful activity, and people will turn into they'll resort to cannibalism, eating man. So it's such a dim outlook on what's going to happen. And my question is, Srila Prabhupada has given quite a few proverbs, and another one is, one rotten apple will spoil the whole barrel. So the actions of certain section of the population influences everyone. It corrupts everything around them. So what I'm trying to ask is that Srila Prabhupada says that it's not, the onus shouldn't be that devotees should be diverting their focus into how to stop these things that are bound to happen. We should be engaged in our Sankirtan Yajna and try to purify ourselves and others around us. But at the same time, how do you find this balance? Because on the one hand, you have this fatalist attitude. You know all these horrible things are going to happen. And on the other hand, we're told we shouldn't be so concerned about it because it's not that we have the power to stop it. But it's really hard then because people will say, oh, well, you're very uncaring. You have a cold and callous attitude. So my question is, how do you find a balance in all of this? Hare Krishna.
Well, the Kali Yuga is advancing, but at the same time, because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared 500 years ago, so that's why there is a 10,000 years of golden age. So all of these nature things are going to go on, and the golden age is also going to go on. So for the next 10,000 years, we have this golden age that is going to prosper, make more and more devotees become, more and more people become subordinate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, accept the name, accept the supremacy of the Supreme Lord, and come together to chant the holy name, come together and take the vow of Anarth Nivriti, come together and discuss the Srimad Bhagwatam and the Bhagavad Gita, and so on. So all of these things, the effects of Kali Yuga are going to go on and going to make things worse. So for us, best thing is to try to get out of this material world as soon as possible and go back home, back to Godhead, or wherever Krishna will send us to propagate the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes, we're sometimes accused that, you as a group are on the one hand showing that you're so concerned about people's welfare, spiritual welfare, but on the other hand, there's always going to be a section of the population, these asuras, that are always hell-bent on ruining everything for everyone else, even those that are God conscious. So sometimes they see this as an unfair war between the two sections of the population. One is God-fearing and one couldn't care less. But yet the God-fearing population is also going to suffer.
We are concerned. That's why we are distributing books, we are distributing the holy name, we are distributing so much prasadam to everyone. So somehow or the other, they would get closer to Krishna and try to get out of this material world, because this material world is bad news. It is always the birth, death, old age, and disease. They're always there. So, this material world, Srila Prabhupada said, is not where we belong. This material world is like a toilet. When you go to the toilet, you just do your business and get out. So, similarly, we should also try to not live in this material world, just perform what we need to do here and try to get out of here as soon as possible. Any other questions or comments? Thank you. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanand.